Hello, 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 hello. Good Vach, everyone. Motzei Shabbos Nachamu. Gewalt, Gewalt, Gewalt. So one time, Baal Shem HaKodesh, so a person, a tzaddik, and he said that in Olam HaTmuros, there is a universe, and it's called the universe of exchanges. The universe of exchanges is a very bitter inyan, very bitter existence. When a person leaves this world and he doesn't even know that he left this world. He gets to that universe of exchanges and he continues to exist without knowing that he has already expired. What happens is that in the world of exchanges, a person, lo aleinu, is surrounded not with people, but with avenging angels, lo aleinu. And they fool around the person. That's what they do. It's just so a person thinks that he's in this world, he's opening his business, he travels for business, he does whatever he does. And things simply don't work out. Things simply do not work out. Constantly. Day after day after day, this person is having a bad day. People don't understand what is this inyan of Echalei Tmurot, the universe of exchanges. Bechlal, what is the inyan of Olam Haba? Arizal explains in Sefer Gilgulim, that's the book of incarnations, that a person's body is not who he really is. A person's neshama is who he is. The body is only the vessel, the kli, where the neshama is embedded in. And it is that thing which lives inside your head, which looks out at this world out of your eyes. That's the thing that this is the you. And you have absolutely no idea who that ani, that I, that you are, who it is. the only thing that you can possibly fathom, the only thing that you recognize, the way that you recognize yourself is by the way things make you feel. Who is your father? Who is your mother? Who is your wife? Who is your husband? Who are your children? How your parents made you feel? How, what kind of koiches hanefesh, what kind of talents you were given? And these are all conditions. These are all, the kalim, the tools that you get in order to fulfill what you need to fulfill in this world, to complete what you need to complete in this world. Now, the thing that you need to do is not to get pulled away by those distractions, this world, how things feel, how somebody treated you, whatever it is. You're supposed to react to it in a predetermined way that the Torah says that's what you're supposed to do. This world is an illusion. The Kadosh Baruch Hu puts the neshama according to the kind of tikkunim, rectification that the neshama needs to accomplish in this gilgul, this particular incarnation. Now, when a person gets sucked in to the illusion of life, he becomes embroiled in it. His consciousness becomes captive in this illusion. And when a person leaves the body, when the neshama leaves the body, it is so not in touch with who he is and what he's supposed to be, that when a person passes away, he continues to be disconnected. Well, what happens is that the boundaries that bounded his neshama before are gone. If a person has enough zchuyot, he realizes that. Sometimes he gets a projection from all directions for everything that he did at once. This is a punishment called kafakela. You are all over the universe at once. And then there is Gehenna, then there is whatever it is, the steps that a person needs to go through, la'aleinu, in order to be able to already go through what they call nahar dinu. This is a flow of, as it were, water. Obviously, this is a spiritual river, as it were, that when a person goes through it, what it does, it burns off all the gashmius that was stuck into that particular awareness. This neshama, this ruach, this nefesh. Once, twice, so the first time, it's a fire that cannot be imagined. The second time, it's hot, but it's, and this third time, it's already a Gan Eden, a pleasure that is, because there's no more physicality, there's no more material, stuck in the consciousness of the neshama. But if a person has lived his life so complete, and I'm talking about even great people, that they can't even get to the tikkun when they realize what they have done wrong. People go through what they called heichal atmuros, where a person doesn't even know there's anything is wrong, except that everything is constantly wrong. Each and every one of us has had days like that you know that had you known that this day is going to be like this, you wouldn't have woken up in the morning. Forget about it. This is the kind of day, okay, you turn over to the other side, you go back to sleep. Forget about it. Let's cross this day off the calendar. That's not a day. Everything goes wrong. So that's what they call a bad hair day. Just, and there's nothing you can do. And when it rains, it pours. It becomes worse and worse and worse. And a person goes like this for decades, sometimes for centuries, sometimes for millennia. Can you imagine having a bad day for 1,000 years? And you don't even realize what is going on. And now, this Sichos Baal Shem Tov is not talking about a Rasha. It's talking about a tzaddik. Baal Shem Tov, that tzaddik was also a tzaddik. That he said that in the realm of exchanges, they're laughing, they're making fun of this person. Because this particular person was unbelievable with his tzidkis and precious and sigufim and unbelievable ha'oris, attention, Yarod the Kedusha. But mixed into all this was a kavana that all this was in order to be zeiche and acquire Ruach HaKodesh. And it is because of this kavana, which is not l'shem shamayim, everything that he did went to the universe of exchanges. And they're laughing at him, they're making fun of him. Because this makes it so that he loses his madrega b'kedusha. This is totally unbelievable. A tzaddik. He had ha'oras the kedusha, sigufim, tanesim, Torah. So enachinami. When a person is connected to the tzaddik emes shebado, the tzaddik emes already cleans it out and makes sure that the person gets a ha'ora, a person gets an illumination, and things happen for this person that he would realize while B'ezrat Hashem is in this world, that everything, all the tefillas, all the mitzvahs, everything goes through the tzaddik emes and gets cleaned. And even so, it is so important. Rabbeinu says that when a person leaves this world, what he gets to is not called Olam Emes. It's still not the world of truth. Because also on the other side is filled with, the Zohar says, neshamas of Rishayim, that play around with him and mislead him, avenging angels. And the whole union is that he doesn't even know, again, the fact that he has already passed away. And Rabbeinu says in Sichos Haran that the way that a person can actually be saved from all this is by getting closer to the Tzaddik Hador. Because the Tzaddik Hador can help a person in Olam Haba also. The main help is Olam Haba, to bring him to his tikkun and get him to where he needs to get. There's a frightening sikha that we learned, I believe, in Sichos Haran, that Rabbeinu says a story, and if Rabbeinu says the story, obviously, that's reality. That, one of the biggest, they said probably the greatest student of the Magid HaKodesh of Mezrich was Reb Nachum Mendel of Vitebsk. He was the Rebbe of the Baal Tanya. Was a great, great, great Jew, obviously, big tzaddik. And he was in Lithuania. When he left Lithuania, he went to Eretz Yisrael, and then the Baal Tanya became the Rebbe. He founded Chassidus Chabad and so forth and so on. And another Mendel of Vitebsk lived in Eretz Yisrael, and he lived in Tveria, I believe. And there was no parnas in Eretz Yisrael. So what they would do, they would take a person who was both, really an Elchayid, at the same time, a person of means and a person who understands this world. His job was basically as a fundraiser, but it wasn't like a fundraiser like today. Talking about one of the great men of the congregation was a maven, a bardas and a tzaddik, and they would send him, and they sent one of those people to Chutz La'aretz to collect money. And that person passed away on the boat, the Chutz La'aretz. Rabbeinu says that he imagined to himself, he didn't know that he passed away. He imagined that he was driving on a wagon with a driver and what do you call a virtual assistant, like a personal assistant, secretary. And they were going to the market. And in the middle of the way, suddenly he felt an urge to go to his Rebbe, to Nachum Mendel of Vitebsk. So he tells his underlings, his driver, his secretary, okay, I want to go to Vitebsk, I want to go to my Rebbe. So they spoke to him. There was actually avenging angels around him. He says, what are you talking about? It's a big business deal that's waiting for you. A lot depends on it when you're going to a Rebbe now. I mean, come on. So he said, okay, you're right. He kept on going. And after some time, he said, no. I want to go to my Rebbe. Let's just deviate from our way, and I want to go to my Rebbe. So again, they tried to dissuade him, whatever it is, and this time he would not give in. So they said, we're not taking you. What are you talking about? We're not going. This is, what do you mean you're not going? You work for me. You have to take me. What kind of nonsense is this? B'kitzer, the avenging angels had no brera, and they told him, listen, you're a niftar. You're deceased. You passed away. You're no longer alive. So he said, if that's the case, bevadai, I want to go to my Rebbe. And they said, no way. And he said, yes way. And they said, no way. And they said, yes way. The Kitzur, the argument was going back and forth until finally they said, okay, we have to take this to Din Torah, based in Shlomal, They were based in Shlomal. Based in Shlomal says, listen, he was going to his Rebbe all the time, right? You have to take him. And Rabbeinu said that they took him. And when they took him, when he got into the house of Menachem Mendel Vitebsk, there were people around, and he got in with one avenging angel that came in with him. And obviously nobody saw him, nobody saw them except the tzaddik. When he saw the avenging angel coming together with his people, he fainted. And so they revived him. So when they revived him, he told his people that the messenger that they sent has passed away. And he worked for the next 8 days to fix him, to rectify him, to bring him to where he needed to get to. That is the reason why whenever one of Anash passes away, somebody, usually a son, whatever, or whatever, whoever is there, before the burial is telling the niftar, you should know that you're a niftar. You should know that you are deceased. And don't let anyone fool you. And you need to go to Rabbeinu. Rabbi Nachman ben Fege, go straight to him. And don't settle to any other Nachman. Because they'll tell you, yeah, we know a Nachman, we'll take it to him. No. You want to go to Rabbi Nachman ben Fege. You want to go to Tzaddik Emes, don't let anybody fool you. Only when a person is finally zeicher to get to his final resting place, where he needs to get to, then is Olam Emes. Even big tzaddikim need to be connected to Tzaddik Emes. We see this from the Gemara. In the Tanakh, they said that Shaul HaMelech brought up Shmuel HaNavi by witchcraft. And the Gemara said that the witch that brought him up, she saw 2 people. And then she started screaming and said, you cheated me because you know it was Shaul HaMelech, because he killed all the witches. And he says, don't worry about it. She saw them, and only Shaul HaMelech could hear them. And then Shmuel HaNavi is very upset with Shaul HaMelech. He says, why did you bring me up? Why did you upset my rest? And then it's the whole story of, he tells them, listen, tomorrow you and your sons are going to be by me. In other words, they're going to pass, they're going to be killed the next day. And Shaul HaMelech was tzidkes we cannot even imagine. In other words, Shmuel HaNavi told him that if he and his son will avoid the battle, they will not be killed. But if they will be killed, they will be together with Shmuel HaNavi in Gan Eden. So Shaul HaMelech went ahead and he told his son, Yonasan, he said, what would you do if you were to know that tomorrow you're going to get killed in battle? So Yonasan told him, well, I'll do tshuva. So he said, okay, I suggest, why don't you do tshuva? And they both did tshuva, this one in one corner, this in another corner, and the next day they were killed. But the witch saw two people coming out. The only one who spoke was Shmuel Hanavi. Who was the other person? The Gemara says it was Moshe Rabbeinu. He came together with Shmuel Hanavi. So how come he didn't say anything? Where was he? So Chazal said that the minute he realized that the Neshama, Shmuel Hanavi didn't know why he was summoned. Shmuel Hanavi thought that he was summoned to the great day of judgment, Yom Adina Gadol Vanora. And he was scared. So he brought along, he asked Moshe Rabbeinu to come with him to advocate for him that he has kept the entire Torah. So Moshe Rabbeinu came with him, and when he realized that this was summoning by witchcraft, so Moshe Rabbeinu went away, and Shmuel remained. A couple of questions here. First, if that's the great judgment, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu also knows that Shmuel Hanavi has kept the entire Torah. Why does he need a witness? Point number two, Moshe Rabbeinu knew everything. Moshe Rabbeinu knew immediately that they were summoned by witchcraft. So why did he come? We learn from this unbelievable Musaraska. We learn from this that at the final judgment day, even Shmuel Hanavi needs Moshe Rabbeinu. He needs the tzaddik emes. Shmuel Hanavi. They said he was equal to Moshe Aaron. Even Shmuel Hanavi needs the tzaddik emes. But he teaches something else. Not just that Shmuel Hanavi needs the tzaddik emes also. How much more so everybody else? But it also comes to teach you that when you are with Moshe Rabbeinu, when you're with the tzaddik emes, you have unbelievable hope and advocacy to the great day of judgment, no matter who you are. This is the great limud. Today was Shabbos Nachamu. Nachamu Ami. This is the result of Tisha B'Av. What does Shabbos Nachamu have to do right after Tisha B'Av? We didn't see any salvation. We didn't see any Geula. We didn't see anything. We just cried for Beis HaMikdash, and boom, Shabbos Nachamu. What's going on? The Shabbos is Shabbos V'Eschanon. Moshe Rabbeinu begs the Kodesh Baruch Hu matnas chinam. Nosson speaks about it, and he says the Torah you get through being worthy. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. That's with all his milas, so forth and so on. To get there, it's Israel. You have to get matnas chinam. Moshe Rabbeinu asked matnas chinam. When Moshe Rabbeinu got into Eretz Yisrael, there will be no golus. Eretz Yisrael, now you need Siyata D'Shmaya. Now you have to come, you need to protect it, you need Parnasa. In the Midbar, you needed nothing. You had manna, you had the clouds of glory, everything was fine. Eretz Yisrael, you're surrounded with enemies, you have no Parnasa, you have marital problems, you can't get well, Shidduchim problem, whatever it is that you have to go through all these things. This you have to beg matnas chinam. You ask for nothing. You have to realize that you don't deserve anything. That is Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av is an admission of failure. When you finally admit failure and you finally accept the blame, and you don't come with terutzim, you don't come with excuses, you just stay, you just cry, you just wait, and if you can't cry, you wait without crying. Rabbeinu calls it makif de makif, nachamu nachamu. There is a way of getting through by screaming. All ladies, all births, spiritually, physically, follows 70 screams, like the Yoledis when she screams. Sometimes, there's no more koyach to scream. You don't even want to scream. You want to, but you don't want to. You can't scream. You can't even want. The only thing you can do is just be still. This is also a scream. But the koyach of the tzaddik is nachamu nachamu. Is nechama sheba nechama, that even when you don't deserve anything, you hold on to the tzaddik and you have tikva toivo yom adin gadol v'noah. And as to why Moshe Rabbeinu came with it, Moshe Rabbeinu realized that this is not the great judgment day, because Moshe Rabbeinu knows everything. L'chol beisin emanu. You see for me the rachmonis of the tzaddik. He knows that it's summoning via witchcraft, but Shmuel Nevi doesn't. And the tzaddik has rachmonis. So he says, come with me. So he goes with him. When he realizes, he doesn't talk about Moshe Rabbeinu, he talks about Shmuel. When Shmuel realizes that it's not the great judgment day, then Moshe Rabbeinu leaves. The great thing is to connect yourself with all the tzaddikim. All the tzaddikim emes. Don't think that the only Rabbi Nachman and Breslev, that's the only tzaddik that there was, or is. That tzaddikim, Baruch Hashem, everywhere. Connect yourself to all the koyach of the tzaddikim, but bifrat, how much more so to the tzaddik emes. And with this, you can go through anything. And this will take just a couple of minutes to take a look at the Sicha from today. And it has to do with what we were speaking right now. Let's spend a couple of minutes with this. And he said as follows. This is Sicha 191. Pa'am achas nichnas labais. One time, Rabbeinu entered a home of a house. The owner of Omar, and he said, Ma lasis, what can you do? When there's a great mountain of fire. On the other side of the mountain, there is a pile of treasure, which is good and precious and extremely coveted. But you can't come to that treasure. If you go through the mountain of fire. But you have to get to it, because you were destined for this. You're a Jew. You have to go there. He spoke for him again. Baruch Hashem, already know what needs to be done for this. Rabbeinu obviously is not speaking in riddles. The way to get through the mountain of fire that each and every one of us has to go through. It's like I remember telling, I was once learning with somebody, and I told them, listen, we're learning how to Sipurey Baal Shem Tov on Shabbos, whatever. And I said, trust me, none of us will ever win the lottery. So I think I said, please don't say that. Please don't say that. We all have to go through a mountain of fire. Nachamu, nachamu ami. The koich of the tzaddikim, Bezrat Hashem, will all get through this mountain of fire. And when we get through, this is fire? What fire are you talking about? You only see the fire from one side. When you're on the other side, you don't see any fire. It was all a dream. But when you dream, it looks real. Hashem should help us, Bezrat Hashem. Now comes, Bezrat Hashem, from Tu B'Av and on, the second part of Chodesh Av. You know, in Tammuz, the Shem, the tziruf, the combination of Shem Havaya of the month, is completely backwards. It's K Yud and it's Vav K. In Al Chodesh Av, the first part of the month is K Yud. I'm sorry, is K Vav. The second part is Yud K. Is already Keseder. Lo hayu yomim tovim, Am Yisrael, like Yom Kippurim and Tu B'Av, Bezrat Hashem. Bezrat Hashem, Tu B'Av. My son Avromi, Bezrat Hashem, is making bar mitzvah. My grandson, Nosam Elimelech, Hashem Yishmero v'Yichayo, Bezrat Hashem, should grow up, Torah v'chuppah ma'asim tovim, marvelous child, brilliant, tzaddik, Bezrat Hashem. Baruch Hashem should all have b'suras tovos. Everybody that needs Bezrat Hashem shidduchim will get shidduchim. Everybody that needs parnasa will get parnasa. Anybody who needs refuah will get refuah. Bezrat Hashem will all be hearing b'suras tovos. Bezrat Hashem will all meet together in Uman Rosh Hashanah, Bezrat Hashem, this year. Bezrat Hashem will be zecher to Geula Shleima, Bias Mashiach Tzidkeinu, Bezrat Hashem. With Korah Mamish, Shkoyach Godol, thank you very much for coming.